Good evening, everybody. This is Oceanus, back after a pretty interesting week. The subject of today's video is the Wisconsin gubernatorial candidate by the name of Francesca Hong, who I believe has won the award for dumbest gubernatorial candidate of the year. And why do I say that? Well, because, instead of being a smart socialist where you keep your more silly positions private until after the election and instead focus on tabletop issues such as affordability and economics, Miss Hong here seems to be just going all in on the woke 1.0 platform, and while people may be like, oh, it's the culture war stuff, well, this stuff matters in a swing state, in a Midwestern swing state. This isn't your blue New York 40-point Democrat city here. This is Wisconsin. So let's see what Hong has said, because she said a lot of things which are quite concerning to me as an American citizen who doesn't live in Wisconsin, but I don't want my Wisconsin Americans to be subject to this for 4 years. So let's see what she has said about Thanksgiving.
Before November, should you win. One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021 where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. The post has been deleted. Republicans have been highlighting it. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made that was for the community when I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal. I always think
Okay, great. That's amazing. I'm glad you said that.
my hospitality background in owning a restaurant for 7, 8 years that bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing.
Wow. What an amazing answer, right? Surely this can't get any. Surely she can't spike the ball here.
But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. And so
Ooh, and there it is.
I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve. And the position that I'm running for right now, and I think my background as a chef will actually help me become a better governor that's able to bring more people to the table.
Francesca Hong, thank you for joining us. We hope to have you back on, depending on how things go next week in your primary.
All she had to do was stop at the 1 minute mark, and honestly, that would have been a good answer. But then she had, in true socialist fashion, she had to just tank her entire credibility. And I do find it interesting that, she's a chef. Okay, great, but she didn't tell you that her ramen shop went under, so not a very good one. But let's continue. Now, this is Francesca Hong. Now, remember, this is an anti-white idiot. However, she married a white guy, and she has a half-white son, who I feel really sorry for.
Always kind of took over. I wasn't always aware of the struggles of other communities of color because for me, assimilation always kind of took over. And so I did marry. My proximity to whiteness continues, right?
My proximity to whiteness. Okay.
son is biracial. He's half white and half Korean, and I think navigating, what his identity is and how people perceive him is always at the back of my mind as well.
This person's like, oh, my first focus was assimilation. Yes, of course it was, because you're in a white country and assimilation is important. If you don't like white people so much, why are you in a white country? It's not, you don't like us, but you want to be near us, and then you don't want to be near us when you're here. I feel sorry for your son, lady.
Police spent nearly $5 million.
What's this? Okay, this is about and yes, and here we go. The police. The police. She's got some opinions on that too.
Police officers enforce the law with state-sanctioned violence and then get excused for violating
Yes, state-sanctioned violence. That's what the police are for. Thank you for pointing that out.
people's rights because they aren't expected to know the law. Minneapolis police spent nearly $5 million implementing trainings, increasing diversity, repairing to strengthen frayed relationships between cops and communities. It didn't work. We have.
Oh, so you're telling me that the policies that you people advocate for don't work? Very interesting. I was told this was going to work great, but it hasn't worked, and it was the policies that you were advocating for. So, what solution could you possibly have for us that will actually work?
Have to dismantle police unions, end qualified immunity, and start funding social services that work with domestic abuse cases, family services, and public education. Our state needs to ensure resolutions and accountability boards where the decision-making power is in the hands of representatives of those communities. And each city should have local control of how they dismantle their police systems to rebuild new community control systems rooted in preventative care and reducing harm. Defund the police, protect Black lives, and build a care community. This is what we.
So she just admitted in the video that the social experimentation done on the police in the wake of the George Floyd riots back in 2020 to make them more community friendly didn't work. So now she wants to get rid of the police entirely because that'll work. And fund like social services and whatnot. Yeah. Let me tell you what's gonna happen. Yeah, social services are gonna do great at getting rid of the gangbangers and everybody else. How are you gonna deal with a murderer with social services? Oh, you're just gonna like talk him to death? Talk to him so much, yap his ear off that he's just gonna be like, I mean, I'm guilty. I'm sorry. I will never happen again. Like, well, what is the end goal here? You've already admitted your plan didn't work before, and now you're gonna talk big like you have a giant plan that'll surely work this time. Oh my gosh, this person. And she says here's her tweet from 2019. I ate 2 bites of my kid's cheeseburger at a Culver's in Black River Falls and told him that they ran out of ice cream. Mostly just wanted to leave because I was on the verge of an anxiety attack. Too many old white people who don't think we spoke English. OMG, English too, and so apparently you cannot speak English if you don't know the difference between two and what was it? I don't even know what she was correcting there, but apparently English is very difficult for you, and you're policing people for thinking you don't speak English. I'm sorry, Miss Hong. And here's more tweets Jack Posobiec has collected. Kiddo, why are you eating dad's chicken bones? Me, because I'm not white. For real, though, it's alarming how differently we consume chicken drummies. Okay. My 2-year-old looked at his chorizo stuffed chicken and Valentine and asked me for white hot sauce. Apparently, that's what he calls ranch dressing now. Yeah, okay. Well, oh yeah, it seems like Francesca Hong just hates about every single holiday. I do not enjoy fireworks. Okay, lady. You're fun at the 4th of July, I'm sure. I miss working in a restaurant every day except on V-Day or Valentine's Day. As if we weren't invisible enough to those who don't recognize the emotional and physical labor of service work, the worst of humanity comes out from folks celebrating on another day. Capitalism tells you how to show love. Okay, first of all, Valentine's Day has been in existence long before capitalism was even thought of. And capitalism does not tell you to show love at a certain day. You can show love whenever you want to. Valentine's Day is just a day that we tend to show appreciation for the people who we are either married to or courting to be married to. It's some deep conspiracy um, set out by the capitalist elites. Now, have capitalists commercialized on Valentine's Day? Yes, they have, but that's not a condemnation of Valentine's Day in of itself. Same as how capitalists um, capitalizing on Christmas is not a condemnation of Christmas in itself. It's just, capitalists capitalize on things, whether for better or for worse. Good grief, you're reading too much into this, lady. IT bro who was working on our computer remotely changed the background theme to snow and Christmas trees. I feel slightly attacked. Oh, boo freaking who? Snow and Christmas trees. I mean, I guess. What are you? Are you someone who hates Christmas, or you just don't like seeing Christmas stuff outside of December? Because if it's the second part, I can understand. My dad is the same way as you. But if you just hate Christmas, what is wrong? What freaking Miss Scrooge over here? Ah, humbug. Oh, yeah, cancel Thanksgiving. Should have done this in 1621. If it takes a worldwide pandemic for us to realize we should stop celebrating colonialism and the original super spreader event that killed indigenous folks and women, so be it. Okay, so that she does dislike Thanksgiving. So this gives a lot more context to that interview she did on that channel. And even though this was posted on November 2020, I have a feeling she still believes it because she couldn't get through one interview without saying, "Oh, I was a chef and we cooked meals for Thanksgiving." But, oh my goodness gracious, this woman, Wisconsin, you can't let this woman be governor. And let's see. Oh yeah, she's also supported by Hasan Piker, and he's been very funny throughout this. Let's see what he has to say.
The reason why I brought up Michigan is because I think it was Michael Moore in 2016 who said, Michigan's not a swing state, and neither is Wisconsin.
Yes, they are. The past few elections have proven that they indeed are swing states. Trump carried Michigan and Wisconsin in 2016. Biden carried it in 2020. And Trump carried them again in 2024. They are definitely swing states, Mr. Piker.
These are not swing states. They've been turned into swing states because they've left you behind. But we are going to bring back the working class to both Wisconsin and to Michigan.
I don't think Hasan Piker's ever worked a real job a day in his life. And I know that's a lot coming from me because I too can't really be said to have worked a real job. But I even think I have worked more of a real job than Hasan Piker has.
A Republican will never be elected in this state ever again once our movement is done.
Wanna bet? I bet $1 billion you're wrong, bro. And Hasan has been really funny about this because, like, you will see anti-Hong statements coming in hot after tonight's results from Republicans and Democrats. They will focus on our electability. Remember, that's all bullshit, just like from Sauron and the rest of the insurgent left. They do not fear our failure, but our success. Now, Mr. Piker, the reason why Zoran succeeded was because that he was not in a swing state. He was in a deep blue city. And even then, it was a really big fight between him and Cuomo, which I do think Cuomo would have won had Curtis Sliwa dropped out of the race. So Zoran was only able to win because he faced two opponents, and that split the vote between them. So if it's hard for you to win in New York, and you just barely win in New York City, and mind you, Zoran, as much as I dislike the guy, is a very good public speaker. He knows how to how to set the conversation. When he, like, example, if Zohan Mamdani was asked about Thanksgiving, he would not be like, "Oh, Thanksgiving causes pain for many people." He would be like, "Okay, we're talking about Thanksgiving. Let's see, what's the price of a turkey now? What about those mashed potatoes? Let's see if we can get these prices down and affordability up." I'm going to give him that. That's what he would do. Hong is not doing that, and Hong is in a swing state, which makes it much more difficult for chances of election than Zoran was in New York. In all honesty, I think Zoran would have done better in a swing state. Hong would have been done better in New York. But you can't be going around in a swing state talking about how I hate Thanksgiving, I hate 4th of July, defund the police, all this whatnot, because outside of the cities, a lot of these areas are right wing or right leaning. And that's how they're able to swing back and forth. The same cannot really be said for New York, except for a couple of boroughs, whose vote gets canceled out every time. So this guy's a really stupid he's not a good political strategist. It's so funny to me how he's been running, and he knows that Hong is having an issue with this messaging, because I'm trying to find I meant to find the tweet or the post where he talked about Hong. Okay, here it is. We have to stop complaining about old woke tweets while the current pedo protector president is tweeting about genociding countries. Please lock in. Love Fran, but this is an opportunity to turn this back on how Thanksgiving is about to be unaffordable to the Trump's wars. You know, okay, I'll give us on this. That's a smart argument. But you see, even he is having a problem with Francesca Hong's messaging here. And when Hasan is saying you've got a problem, because he knows that you don't talk about these things until after you're elected. When he's saying that you have a problem, and you're someone like a DSA type like Francesca Hong, you have a problem. Let's continue. Let's see what else. Okay, so this is talking about abolishing the police again.
Why shouldn't people take you at your word when you say that you want to defund the police and go towards abolishing it?
Dana, first of all, I have to say thank you so much for featuring my home state in your novel. And I believe that as a democratic socialist, what that means is that I would like to put working class people first over mega corporations.
How does defunding the police put working?
I'm sorry, but police are working class people. Are we just missing that? Police are working class people.
Class people first. I mean, I think that.
I wish I got the rest of that interview, but yeah, I agree. How does defunding the police put working class people first? How do you protect working class people when there's no law enforcement arm to protect them? And she's also in favor of abolishing prisons.
Do you still hold the view that you laid out in May, which was that in a perfect world, it would be a world without prisons?
I think talking about what may be aspirational and then understanding the role of the governor, what they can and cannot do, and what is implementable right now, these are different conversations.
Okay, that was a big Kamala Harris word salad, but I think I understand what she's talking about.
If we're going to be serious about public safety and ensure that everyone's human right to feel safe is what we are trying to do, we have to make sure that the system right now that is incarcerating more Black and brown men than any other state in the country right now, where we have our schools are having to go to referenda just to try to figure out if they can keep the lights on. Making sure that we are delivering solutions, not focusing on labels or slogans, because governing ultimately is about making sure that we're working with our partners in communities on the issues that they care.
I noticed she didn't actually answer the question, and she instead deflected to be like, oh, actually, I got to focus on what the governor can and cannot do. I think this was probably a bit of, it's not even the same interview, but it's like, it's like, how, this is just a terrible position to have, because you're laying all this like Black and brown people are going to jail. Well, yeah, because Black and brown people per capita commit more crimes. I don't understand how the left has this obsession with being the most intelligent in the room, where except for the fact that when statistics and data go the way they don't want them to go, as in the case of brown and Black crime statistics per capita, they start acting dumb and are like, there's no rhyme or reason for this. It's just, it's this conspiracy to put these people in jail because, the system hates them. When no, that's not the case. Oh, yay, racial identity.
Introducing legislation to add Asian Americans to school curricula when in terms of, adding us on to American Indians, Black Americans, and Hispanics in terms of citizenship requirements for what needs to be in curriculum for school boards, going back to making sure that talking about racial identity and the role of race is ubiquitous in classrooms, and that, people don't see that type of change as a threat.
Okay. You know what's really funny about this? Is that everyone is always like, everyone these DSA types are always like, whenever people like me make the argument about how start talking about white issues and how white people are being systemically discriminated against by our own government, and how white people are being replaced in their own countries by their own governments, these people are always like, oh, it's not race war, it's class war, bro. But then as soon as someone like this comes on the scene, they're like, actually, you know what? We got to have a good discussion about racial identity and how important racial identity is to black and brown people. So wait a minute. So it's class war for white people, but it's race war for everybody else. That's literally what the bottom line here is. They want a race war for black and brown people, but whenever they talk about white people, they never talk about white people. They're always like, it's a class war. The white working class isn't white, it's just the working class. But then all of a sudden, it's, brown and black people, well, we gotta get them out of jail. We gotta stop the discrimination. Um, there's a systematic attack on black and brown people. But then it's just class war for everybody else. Then their culture war issues are fine, but our culture war issues are illegitimate. Okay. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to make you aware of this person who I personally believe is the dumbest gubernatorial candidate so far. Out of both parties, by the way. I haven't really found a Republican equivalent to Francesca Hong. I'll bet I can, but not for the reasons that you guys think. Because believe me, there are some pretty dumb Republicans out there as well. But when you have this person going out there and saying, we gotta do all this freaking woke stuff, then and not only that, but they're saying this in a lean red state. I don't believe she's gonna win. And I think if the Democrats in Wisconsin nominate her for the general election, that they're going to lose. Which will be an interest. The only reason why she would ever be competitive right now is because it's a favorable year for Democrats to win the midterm elections. If that were not the case, she would be down double digits in the polls. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry, Wisconsin, that you have to deal with this. Sympathies from Florida. If any people who watch my videos are from Wisconsin, I stand with you against this, whatever this is. Also, just as an announcement, if you check out my Substack page, I will link the specific post in the description. But I am starting to work on a novel, you could say, and I think it's going to be amazing, and I would hope you check it out. Now, let me just tell you that for those who are not familiar with Substack, once you click on it, it'll ask you, to enter your email address. Don't worry about that. It's nothing shady. It's an email newsletter. So if you want to do that, you can, but you don't have to. You can view it without entering your email address. But just if you want to check it out, go ahead. And I'll be back another day with a video. But thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all have a good night.